Hey, this is Raise Radio, the holistic wisdom podcast for awakening women that weaves food and nutrition, traditional wisdom, spiritual expansion, so that you can feel your best, body, mind, and soul. I'm your host, Raina Lutz. Let's dig in. Hey, this is Raise Radio, and today I'm going to dig into my thoughts on AI. So I put a post out on my Facebook recently entitled, "I will not be participating in the downfall of humanity." That was my clickbait. And the comment below, I went on to describe that it's been really challenging being online in the last month. So for future reference and posterity, it is February 2024. And in February of 2024 is when I started noticing that every single social media platform that I was using and the app that I was using to create content for social media, that all of them were starting to ask me, they started to have buttons. They started to have buttons for have AI create this content for you. And it started to disrupt my spirit. And after seeing this, every day, it started to really wear on me. And I started to think more about the coming months, the coming years, and what social media is going to be like, what it's going to turn into. I started thinking more about my role as a human in supporting my community and what that looks like moving forward in the world of AI. And I started thinking about, the people in my circles that were talking about the dawn or the awakening of AI. And then people on the other side who were talking about the beginning of the end. And I think it's really important when, we're talking about an issue to look at both sides. And of course, there's extremes on both sides. Definitely with my comment, I'm not saying that, the world's going to end in a year. I'm absolutely not saying that. But my biggest concern is that our humanity is being taken. There is a lot of our language and culture that's threatened to be stolen and changed. And changing history, all of that is scary to me. So when I started looking at the rabbit holes, of course, I went to the other side and I was like, wow, like AI for this, human flaw can create this. So if we can use AI for these things, that's beautiful. And it's like, yes, of course, there's things where, I see the good in this. And I think it's very important to be aware of the dangers. So as an artist, as a writer, as a healer, as an expert and consultant, and someone who's been mastering my craft for over 12 years, it's really frustrating to, see all these changes and see people lose themselves to this already, like so soon, so early days. And daily being reminded that I don't have to work. I can just have AI type this all for me. It's like, well, then what's all the point of my work that I've been doing? All of my learning, all of my skills, all of my honing, all of my mastering, all of my abilities and all of my work and my trainings. And like, what's the point of all of that if something can just do my work for me? So it really hasn't been sitting well with me since, I really, really deeply dug into this, learned more about the goals and agendas. If you haven't Googled or gone down the rabbit hole at all with transhumanism, the tie-in with that, with transgender, and you haven't looked into any of these movements forward for the path of humanity, like if you haven't looked at that, then there's a huge piece of the pie that's going to be missing for you. So we need to look at these things that are challenging, that are uncomfortable. We need to look at them to understand what the biggest picture is. So since I did that and I learned more about the bigger picture and the agenda behind a lot of that, I've been formulating thoughts and feelings, but I was really struggling to describe them on the platforms that use it. It just felt really weird. And so I kind of sat with it. I was sick this winter, and so I had a lot of downtime to to trudge through a lot of emotional stuff and let go of old parts of me and, really deeply evaluate my life. That always happens to me when I get sick. There's always a lot to clear and dig into. I don't know if you have the same experience, but it's always been like that for me. And so, I've had a lot of time to not only dig into this, but feel into it and formulate perspectives on it. So, when I sort of came back onto social media, back into regular posting, and I was sort of back in the platforms, I also realized, like, if I don't share my thoughts about this, even though it's on the platform that's participating there with that, like, that doesn't sit well with me either, to not share my thoughts. And so it's like, if I only have a few more years online, or maybe only one, where it feels okay to be in these online spaces, there's still lots of humanity here. There's still some realness. There's still people, sharing their weird lunch photos and, having lots of typos in their posts. Like, that's what I want. I want people's realness. And while it's here, I should share my thoughts with the humans that are still in these spaces. So, I have so much experience in my business. I have had epic business moves. I have had epic business fails, monumental flops, really beautifully written posts, shares, deep learnings, so many teachings and trainings, and been mentored and mentored others since 2012. So many clients, so much writing, so much speaking, public speaking, doing different classes, doing different talks, doing different workshops, doing circles, hosting programs, writing articles, doing podcasts like you're listening to right now, and writing blogs. I have so much under my belt in the realm of wellness and healing. And there's no way to be able to bypass all of that work, right? You can't just download that. You can't just download that. And so when it comes to my industry, one of the things that I, when I thought about, well, how is this, I understand how this is applicable to me as a human, and then to me as a healer in the sense of a business, but how is this relevant to nutrition and wellness as my business? So, the creation of meal plans, that's not new. I mean, there's billions of meal plans on Google. That's not anything new. But, people asking their chatbot to create the meal plans or tell them, what they should be eating that day, all of that can happen. It can tell you what to eat. It can even give you the steps to care for your mental health. Like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing that. But the missing piece in that is that in the real world, you actually need someone to help you act on those things. And you can't bypass doing that work. You have to actually do it. And you have to be able to listen to your body about what it needs. You have to act on caring for your mental health, right? We can't just read about how to care for my mental health and then we're like, well, I feel better. Like, no, we have to actually take the actions, which is why people require a coach, because they need someone who has so much experience that they can hear what's being said in between their words, or feel what's being said in between their words, or read their body language and hear, feel, understand what they're actually experiencing underneath what they're saying, and say, look, I think this is going on, or I can feel this in your spirit, or this trauma needs to be cleared, or this is holding you back. A machine can't do that. Only people with other souls who have those experience under their belt, or who have sight to be able to see that, can actually do that work. So there's a lot of work to be done to overcome our trauma so that we can take action on these wellness pieces that we need, right? There's no magic fix. We all know that. There is no refine my life button, right? We can't just get AI to do that for us. We have to do that. And that's hard. It can be really hard. It can be ugly. And it requires us facing our humanity. So I'm going to keep talking about this as much as I can. I mean, a friend reminded me last night, you're a leader. People need to hear your thoughts. It's part of your strength to write and share your opinions. And so I'm going to keep doing that until I absolutely positively physically cannot be participating on social media anymore. And then you'll be able to just find my flyers on, benches and poles downtown, and I'll write in chalk on sidewalks and tell people where I'm going to be and where to connect with me so that we can connect as humans the way we're meant to. Like, we're so far from tribe and fire. And so we want to get back to that face to face. So I'm a human with a soul who has struggled with food and emotional eating and addiction and so much more. And so I can truly feel when people share their hurt with me. I understand it. My soul feels it because I've been there too. And so I can help you heal the body, mind, spirit, like holistic healing around these issues. And I understand your hurt and your humanity because I have felt so deeply my whole life. It's part of my gift. Part of my gifts, I am very soulful, and I guarantee you that I can help you 100 times better than a machine that isn't soulful. So if you need support right now, you can send me an email, rainalutz@live.ca, or connect with me in my Facebook group, which is in the description of this podcast. I encourage you to listen to some fascinating speakers about AI on YouTube. My favorite one is called AI and the Future of Humanity. It's by Yuval Noah Harari, and he's speaking at the Frontiers Forum. It's about a 40-minute video. Honestly, even watching half of this will completely distill down some really, really complex knowledge and intelligence, and just distill it down for people to really understand in a super simple way, which is such an amazing skill as a speaker. And I think that he really, in a beautiful way, talks about how humans are playing God, the dangers of that. He talks a lot about AI and its consciousness, and how it's hacking human language and culture right now, and the huge dangers of that. So I really, really, really encourage you to look into this, look into both sides, and feel it out for yourself. Thank you so much for listening today. Thanks for listening. You can find me online at www.rainadonlutz.com.